Got into a huge fight with best friend of 16 years because I can't trust her around men I date. Me, F33, and my best friend, F34, have been friends since I was 17. It's been a tough friendship, even toxic. We are the only ones we know our age that are not married. She's legally separated, with no kids. We bond over how horrible our lives are. Due to our common interest? We have put up with each other even though she hates things about me, and I hate things about her. I trust her in most aspect of a friendship except one. Men. Most of the guys I dated or have had a crush on, have hit on her. Now for context, I'm a loyal friend. I have other friends and one other best friend that I've known for 15 years. They can attest to my loyalty, she can even attest to my loyalty. I have other friends besides her, she only has me and one other friend. She has 3 sisters she constantly fights with her, currently she hasn't talked to one of her sisters for like 4 years, and I don't think she talks to another who has a mental disability, for years. She had a husband for 3 years and he left her and never looked back. The only times he contacted her is to get his stuff back and to discuss getting legally divorced, but instead of hearing him out she yelled at him and he hasn't contacted since. I knew him and he didn't seem like the cheating type, he seemed nice. It doesn't seem like he left her for another woman. I actually found him on a dating site about a year after he left. She is very difficult to be friends with and she's very vindictive. She says she did nothing wrong to him, that he left cause he couldn't man up. She never takes any accountability. I know how hurtful she is when she's mad. If she acted that way with him as she is with me whenever they were in an argument, then I don't blame him for leaving. I'm of the mindset that if my friend, doesn't even have to be my friend, but if a guy who has a girl hits on me, I will make it known that they cannot hit on me. I will yell at them, and if that doesn't work, maybe slap them, but I've never been in that situation, so I never had to. I don't care if the guy thinks I'm rude, my loyalty to their woman comes first. I don't need nor want attention from a taken man, or a man who my friend has a crush on. I will never do to another woman what I don't want done to me. I have gone out of my way to make sure my friends know that I will never betray them like that. Going back to my best friend. Years ago, I was seeing a guy on and off for years. It was never official, but I was young and believed myself to be in love. My best friend knew this. One day, when him and I were off, he tricked her into going to a party, but in fact he took her to an empty parking lot and tried to seduce her. My friend said she tried pushing him away, tried bringing my name up. I don't know if I believe her because I know she also likes attention from men. My friend told me about this a year later after he seduced her. Naturally, I was mad. At the time she told me, I hadn't talked to him in a year and he ended up getting married and I haven't talked to him since. So it was a little late to yell at him, but I'm aware that he initiated the seduction. I know it didn't come from her. I'm not saying he was innocent. He's an ass, I know. But I was mad she didn't tell me the moment it happened. Am I wrong to think that she should have told me right away? Her defense was that she thought I'd be mad at her, and we have had many arguments since, and I tried to make her understand that her job as a friend is to tell me whether or not I got mad at her. Which BTW, if she told me right away I wouldn't get mad at her, I'd be mad at him only and not both of them. Her other defense is that she didn't know if I'd believe her. I said that didn't matter whether I believed her or not, her job as a friend is still to tell me anyways. What I did with that information is none of her business. I could have forgiven him or I could have ended it, but either way that was my decision and not hers. Another defense she says is I don't even like him or find him attractive, and I keep telling her, it has nothing to do with that. You should have gotten yourself out of that situation immediately. You should have made it clear to get his hands off you. Whether you had to yell at him or slap him. And you should have told me as soon as you could. I didn't talk to her for a year after she told me, but somehow we started talking again. But she still thinks she did nothing wrong. And to this day I still don't trust her and I'm actually traumatized over it, but we continued our friendship. A few months ago she told me that her sister's husband told her she was pretty one time she was having a smoke with him at their house while her sister was sleeping. I asked her what she did when he said that and she said she got silent and he could tell he made things awkward and he said so. She said she stayed and had another cigarette with him for 5 minutes to teach him a lesson so that he can feel uncomfortable in the awkwardness he created. When she told me, it instantly brought back my trauma with her and the guy I was seeing, and I got mad at her again, saying why didn't you leave as soon as he hit on you? She again said to punish him. I asked her why she didn't tell her sister and she said cause she wasn't gonna believe her, and I said don't you understand that it doesn't matter whether she believes you or not, the right thing to do is tell her. She said she talked to her mom and other sister and they advised her not to cause they know their sister/daughter, she wouldn't believe her. Also, her family is a little weird, trust me in that, she probably went to the wrong PPL for advice. I could tell stories about her family that would leave you in shock. Everyone that knows her family, knows they are weird. She said I was making a big deal all cause she stayed an extra 5 minutes. I said, to you 5 minutes is no big deal, To her it's a huge deal. Just recently I told her I went out with my other friends and they introduced me to a guy that was hitting on me and I told her how hot he was and I wanted to see him again. I ended up inviting her to my friend's birthday party. I didn't know my crush was gonna be there, and he hit on me but then saw her sitting on the couch with an empty seat next to her and sat beside her and started hitting on her. Everyone at the party including him knew I was attracted to him. Yes, I'm aware I have horrible taste in men. My back was towards them but I could sense what was happening behind me but I didn't want to bring the party down so I put a smile on my face and didn't say anything. But my friends noticed. One of them said to me quietly, "Do you see what's going on behind you?" I said, "Oh yes, I'm aware," and she said, "That's effed up." I said, "I know." She said, "Isn't she supposed to be your friend?" I said, "Yep." Another friend noticed too, and she went and separated them out of her own free will. I never told her to. My crush got up and my best friend got up and went to the balcony for a smoke by herself. I followed her. I said, "What happened?" She said, "I don't even want to tell you." Immediately my blood boiled. Hasn't she learned her lesson? Doesn't she know that as a friend her job is to tell me, even if it hurts? She ended up telling me that he called her pretty and was asking her questions about herself, basically hitting on her. I asked her, "Why didn't you get up?" She said she didn't want him to think she was rude. Again, I was fuming. I said, "Why do you care if he thinks you're rude?" I told her that if any of my friends' men, I know he wasn't my man, hit on me, I wouldn't give a F if I was rude, I would get TF up and immediately tell my friend. Her defense again was, "He's not even cute, I'm not interested in him." I said, "How do you not understand that it doesn't matter? Your actions matter." I even told her if I acted the same with men as she did she would hate me. And she agreed. He was a jerk anyways, so I didn't think we should end our friendship over him, so we moved on, even though I can't believe after all this years she still doesn't get it. But today she gave me a fake scenario and asked me if you were still with your recent ex, but let's say you were still dating him and I was at the mall and I saw him with a girl, would you want me to tell you? I was shocked that she even had to ask the question. I said, "The fact that you have to ask the question, of course I'd want you to tell me." She said, "Yeah, but what if it was his cousin or sister and I don't know? I don't want to jump to conclusions." I said, "How do you still not understand that it's not your job to come to those conclusions? It's your job to tell me. It's my job as his GF to find out who that girl was and speak to him about it anyways." That opened up old wounds and we started arguing, and she accused me of manipulating her into thinking she did something wrong. I told her she was gaslighting me. But she maintains that she never did anything wrong, that it's the guy's fault for hitting on her. I told her that I never said that guys were innocent. The other thing about her is that she's petty. If we argue about something, she brings other things that have nothing to do with the argument, things I told her in confidence, and she throws it in my face. Which I never do to her, I always stick to the argument at hand. She brags about how when she's pushed to her limit, her words get poisonous. As a person that has been in lots of arguments with her, I can verify that is true. But I'm also stubborn and I don't back down. She kept threatening me with, "Oh Cindy, name is fake, you don't want to keep pushing my buttons, you don't want to see what happens," and I said, "You always think I'm scared of you, don't hold back, show me that ugly personality you have." Long story short, it almost got physical. She kicked me out, which I was happy to leave. I can't believe it got to that point and I'm still in shock. Am I wrong to think she's a horrible friend? Am I wrong for expecting so much from her? Is ending our friendship what is best for us?